Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Happy Monday. For those of us in the UK, happy bank holiday. Lovely stuff. A lovely bank holiday. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. If you're new around here, where the hell have you been? But thanks for joining us. And don't forget to like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Nice to see everybody. Some nice people on the chat already. Let's go through and have a quick chit chat with everyone. Frano, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, usual suspect. Mark's in the chat. Happy Bank Holiday Monday. Happy Bank Holiday to yourself. Yeah, it's nice when we've won the game, isn't it? Undefeated this season. Undefeated. And this week is going to be a very, very, very busy week. Very busy week. We've got, well, particularly Friday is going to be the busy day. Tick, we've got the end of the transfer window. Tick, we've got the draw for the next round or for the Europa League. That's on Saturday. That's on Friday. And then tick, we've also got bloody Luton. Mental. So that Friday is going to be massive day on Friday. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it, my friends, and hope you are too. It's there's plenty to enjoy. Anton did a show early this morning talking about what's the name? Yuri Alberto. That Steiden's gone on a plane and he's flown to Brazil. Hammer's headlines today. We've got it might not just be Yuri Alberto he's going out to have a chat to. We'll just leave it like that. So yeah, could be a little bit different. It might not be Yuri. It might not be Yuri. It might be someone else. And then we'll talk about like some other players have been linked with. He also did a show yesterday about Harry Maguire, and also Mo Kaduce is in the building. All done and dusted. So it's all good in the hood. Let's see who else we got in the chat. A few more people joined us since. Woo indeed. Well done on the win. West Ham versus Brighton. Thank you. Wahaha. Good afternoon, Peter. Good afternoon. Dan, good afternoon to you. Dan, Russ, we are massive, says Matt Foster. And we've got Kaduce. We certainly have. Afternoon, guys. Evening from Australia. Love the updates, Russ Allen. We always update. We'll keep you updated. Just hit the bell notification and you don't miss any updates. Marcus, good afternoon to you. Black Country, usual suspects there. Are we going for any strikers? Rumours Tim went to Flamengo to Brazil. Went to Brazil to Flamengo. Well, Flamengo is one of the ones we're looking at in terms of Yuri, but I believe also Pedro from Corinthians is someone we're looking at as well, who is very good. Very good. 96 goals in 197 appearances, I want to say. Something like that. So not too shabby, Alonso. But we'll keep an eye on that. Everyone in the chat, are we in trouble with FFP with these signings? Not particularly. Because obviously with he who should not be named the former captain number 41. In terms of our and actually Holly did a great show about it a couple of weeks ago in terms of the why we have to spy and at certain times and things like that. So go and check that one out. It's really, really interesting. It gives you a whistle stop tour of why we're sort of okay. Because we're in Europe, we have different parameters in place, so we have to do something a bit different than others, but it should be fine. It should be fine. Please no, I don't want Maguire. According to Jason Burt from the Telegraph, that's not happening now. Are we walking on thin ice? Not particularly. There'll be because don't forget, as well as he should name for the captain number 41. Obviously, Skarmaka went for 25 million. Vlasic went for 10 million. So really, it's about 140 something million. We could play with it. We were already okay in terms of the losses, but obviously going back into Europa League this year means more money in the coffers as well. So, and also potentially, if you have a good Europa League conference, every conference as well. If we have a good Europa League, then what could happen is our coefficient score could be high enough for us to qualify for the Group World Cup in America next year. There we go. I'll be over the moon if we sign in Nesri. We'll talk about that later on. Barry, hope you're well. You can see 2-3 more coming in with some leaving too. Definitely some leaving because we're on 25 now. 25-man squad, including obviously, and that's excluding the likes of Mbama because he doesn't count. He's under 18. but there will be 25 now with Kaduce in. So if we sign anyone, someone will be leaving or someone will not be included in the squad. So, for example, I mean, if I see, so if, for example, what's his face leaves, if we sign like a striker, then my assumption is that means Danny Ings probably goes, maybe to Everton, maybe. But yeah, that's what will happen. Left back, so we've got Ian Marston in, then Cressor would probably leave, and so on and so forth. Barry, hope you're well. When you said busy week, I thought you meant 4 players, 3 players. I mean, that's busy. They'll be that busy as well. That's going to be busy as well. Let's talk about terrific Timothy Jets signing a season indeed. Jones is here we go. Are you happy now, Joe? Let me know you're happy because you're always, I want you to be happy. Afternoon Russ fast become one of our best windows and team looking awesome. Squad looking awesome, I think, as well. That's the key for me. It's the squad is looking awesome. Has anyone seen the renovation work? Talk about polishing a turd. Yeah, it doesn't look too good, does it? Yeah, strange one. Are we? We're going to be cooking with gas soon. Are you sad that Skamaka? I am actually, because I think he would actually do really well. Will we play the third round before the international break? No. We haven't. No, is it the second round this week, isn't it? And I think the third round isn't until after the international break, I believe. You have to up the third round. Obviously, we get a bye, don't we? And the draw is Wednesday. Draw's Wednesday, so we will not be playing. So, and the third round is played on November the 7th. So no. Afternoon campers, good evening. If we beat Luton, we'll go back top of the league. Loving life as a West Ham fan, getting a nosebleed. Love your channel. Thanks, Corky, mate. Don't forget to give it all a like. Garino. Offers received from our Saudi Arabia for Benny and Zuma. The Zuma one I saw because I think that was a reason why we were looking at maybe going back in for Maguire on loan. But I love a conspiracy theory. So why is Moyes not saying who's going to be the captain until after the international after the transfer window is closed? I don't get it. Ings to West Ham, I think so. Better than last summer. Yeah, I think it is. I think these guys come in and they're all ready. We bought a lot of players last season, and those players are now developed into now, but still, it's still a bit. We'll talk to each other. Johnson, Ings, and Fornals could all go. I think, yeah. Zuma's knees are creaking, so move to Saudi may happen. That's the way I can. That's why I think it's an easier pace, and they get a lot more money for it. Ings Cornet should go. I'm very happy. Good. How good is Luton pitch? Well, I don't think he's even finished. Is it finished now? I don't know. Definitely get Cornet out of the club. Get some readies in for him. If people want to buy him, it's all right saying these players are gonna. That's it. As I said, takes 2 to transfer, isn't it? Takes a selling club and a buying club. Now, obviously, we can say yeah, Cornet's available. All these guys are available. But if no one buys in for them, then they're still there. Cornet at West Ham has been a complete disaster. We should have got Scammy on loan, and if he didn't settle, we could have lost any money on him. Yeah, but Sassuolo didn't want that to happen. I'll give him West Ham 0. No, shush. Wonder what City Luton is twinned with. No idea. Let's hope whoever we sign as a striker, they actually stay for longer than the season. Well, yeah, it'd be nice. Such a shame we haven't seen the best of Cornet. It didn't start off well, did it, Steve? In all honesty, did it? Didn't start very well, and then it just deteriorated a bit. He got injured. And there's not much you can do when a player's injured, then, isn't it? There's not much you can do, unfortunately. But it is what it is, and it's a shame because I think Cornet had some, had the potential to be a really good signing for us. And I was really excited when we signed him. Then he got injured. Don't forget he started reasonably well in the beginning of the season, didn't he? And then it sort of went downhill a little bit. And then he got injured, and he never really came back the same player. And he's just sort of sitting on the bench now. Do you think Moyes will give him game time anytime soon? In terms of who, usual? Talking about Cornet, or are you talking about Kaduce? I think Kaduce. I personally, I'd put him straight in. I'd put him straight in on against Luton. The lad scored. What was it? Lad scored 3 goals the other day. Smashed it. Keep me going. Our record with strikers has been rubbish. Certainly has. That's why we convert wingers to strikers. Really needs to tie down new deal. Bowen. Yep. before vultures come flocking around. I think we'll see him signing a new deal soon. I reckon. I think Kurt is Muslim and Saudi leagues. Yep. And it's very true. And they pay a higher premium for Muslim-based players. They just do, and I think that's why I think Ben Rama's Muslim as well, isn't he? So that's why I think I can definitely see Ben Rama moving to the Saudi league before, and their league finishes a week after us. I think it's a week after us. I believe. Don't jinx him, Peter, before he's even played for us. Will Moyes know how to use all his players? Wait and see, ladders. Not jinxing. Chris is back in the squad. Does he still want to go, or is he part of Moyes' plans? But he's still in the squad, and I think he's just making do. I think he's just making do, and I think he's just sort of just hanging around, in all honesty. But again, we'll see what happens. I was wondering whenever it's fit, what formation will be. I think it's going to be more like the 4. I mean, we had the 4-1-4-2, 4-1-4-1. That's impressive. Put another striker on. I think that could be what we do going forward. Did not happen as though they're money. If they sell Nunes to Man City, however, indeed, that's the idea. If they move in then hopefully that should all be all sorted for us. Hopefully. We shall wait and see. Good day. Are you happy? We're all happy, Hammers. Total football indeed. Right, let's do the ratings. As anyone new to the channel, plenty of new channel members, so thanks for joining us. What we do is we put together I'll give you my ratings, you disagree with them, and then we all go home together. Not together, but you know what I mean. Go to Brendan Johnson being named Spurs. Yeah, I think you'll go to Spurs. Some people have had the chance after chance, and sometimes it's time to go. I agree, and I said this yesterday with Anton and Holly. You know, for me, it's not a case of, you know, it is about being ruthless now. And I've said this: to be a successful side, you have to be ruthless. You can't be like, what's the word? You can't be sentimental. You can't be sentimental. You've got to move players on when they're not ready. When this one's gone, he's got to move. This one, that, you know, as I said, and I always harken back to Man City. Man City always, every season, 2 of their main players usually go, and they get swapped in for 2 newer models. So, for example, look this year, Mahrez. I think Mahrez was after Haaland was probably their top goal scorer. Maybe he's gone. They bring in Doku. You know, and it's like then they bring in Yoship, and they were trying to get rid of Kyle Walker, and that's what they do every year, and that's what I think any decent side has to do that. And I think, you know, there's a I mean, it's like now you're thinking with Kaduce coming in, where's Fornals going to get any game time? He's 20, he's 28 now. Same as Ben Rama. Ben Rama's 20. They're both sort of 28. They're coming to the, you know, they're coming just slightly past their peak now. It's about maybe getting some readies for them, letting them play first team football, and then moving them on. It's not a case of I love Fornals as a person. I love him, what he brings in terms of his energy. But actually, is he going to be okay with being a bit player? Probably not. He wants to play first team football, doesn't he? Well, he's still got aspirations of playing for Spain, you know, and he's not going to get that by having a 15-minute cameo every week. He just ain't. Or a run out against Dinamo Zagreb. It's not gonna happen. Always used to replace a couple of players every year, and every couple of years, his coaching staff. Indeed, you've got to freshen up. And it's in, you know, and we've seen, and that's why I was slightly. Well, I wasn't now, but at the time I was like, why are we offering Cresswell a new deal? Why are we offering Bonner a new deal? You know, this was like, there's an opportunity to bring in some fresh blood, and we kept that going. So next year we get a situation where that's going to happen. And then I think Soufal's out of contract. I think Souček goes into his last year and stuff like that. So he's going to have the same situation next year. So he's about just moving things. Hope Cresswell gets a move as he's not committed to West Ham. More time to go and getting a younger left back. Indeed, exactly. Lots of cuffs entering for Fana. What happened to that deal? Nothing. Like the stream, always Enigma out, always reminds me. Corner's a quality player. We haven't seen the best of him. Give him a good run. But the thing is, to give him a good run, it means dropping someone we've just paid, you know, be dropping one of the players. So who would you drop to give that good run? I think he should go. When are we going to see Dinos? Dinos will be after the international break, I believe. I guess we're not going to go for Tar now unless someone leaves. Yeah. I think it's 1 in, 1 out, to be honest. I think actually, on paper, Dinos is a better player. He's younger as well. Did we replace the coaching staff? Well, we promoted Mark Robson into the first team coaching staff, and I think we've probably got another space for someone. We're starting to look like a proper solid team. It gets in better if Super Team gets his air miles in, and Nesri wants too much. Sevilla want too much money, so nothing will happen unless they drop their asking price by quite a bit. Totally agree. We're still interested because he's one. As I said, we talk about Hammer's headlines tonight, but he for me is a Moyes player. He's a Moyes hard-on player. Certain players that Moyes has a hard-on for, like Jesse Lingard, he has a hard-on for, and so is Nesri. And so if the opportunity's there, then he'll get him. But it's all about money, as you said. Club sitting around Antonio after we start. Leeds is latest. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him going to Leeds, to be honest, if he's going to go anywhere. Gift Orban is the one we should be looking at. Apparently we are. He was on our list. Him and Hugo Kluppers, both from Genk. Hugo scored home and away, I think. Kent, didn't he? For us, I believe. Can we confirm Stein left Brazil? We can't confirm. That's what we're led to believe. Why are we looking for Maguire and loan when we've just started centre back? I think there's still move for Zuma out. I think there's going to be a little bit movement in, and that's something which we've spoken about briefly. I think Dinos wants to prove himself as he was already in the PL. Ask Tim. I can have his air miles. If Ariola plays like he did on Saturday, then we could have a great season. Cornet wouldn't get anything but cup runs, same as Ings. If we get a good deal for them, then thanks, but goodbye. Totally agree, Alan. Totally agree. If someone like Everton comes in for Danny Ings, wants 10, 12 million quid, off you go, son. Off we go. I still say if he's well buying the players, but will Moyes play him, or will he say that they're not ready yet? Well, I mean, he's played JWP. He's done 2 full 90 minutes. He's played Alvarez. He started 90 minutes and came obviously a little cameo the other day. Considering he hasn't had a what's name. For me, he hasn't had a preseason at all. He hasn't had nothing. So, and Kaduce, he doesn't need preseason. He's unlike the others. We brought him in and they had to have a preseason. He's been playing. He's had a preseason. He's scoring goals and he knows he's scoring goals. So we'll see. Ings out, Cresswell out, and Cornet out. If you look at it from business perspective, Zuma's missing through 15 minutes, 15 games a season. Shall we say selling him for good money unless makes business? That's exactly what I mean. And it means, and what you'd end up getting, Harry Maguire on loan to cover that. And you'd have Mavropanos and Aged. But don't forget also that in January, when Aged goes to the AFCONs, Agbona comes in, or we go to, or some, and you still, because whatever happens, doesn't matter how many centre halves we start the season with, we'll end up with one halfway through the season, because you always do. Can't believe we're still talking about Maguire unless it's just gossip. Well, Jason Burr from Telegraph says it's gossip, but I can see it happen. I can see if it was a loan deal, I can see something like happening generally. Again, has had clubs interested, so maybe he could go. I don't think again. I think I can see more like Zuma going. Give him no contract until you find the feet. Impressed with how JP and Alvarez are starting in. Ings, Cornet, Cresswell need to go, but keep Antonio for one more season and play him as an impact sub if he wants to play. And that's the thing. It's all well and good us saying that's what we want to do, but does Antonio want to be an impact sub? No, he wants to be the main man. So that's the trouble, Chelsea tried to hijack. They did. Arsenal also tried to bid beforehand, and some Saudi clubs also tried to hijack the bid as well. I believe Kudus is Muslim as well. Mohammed, so probably his first name stupid for us. So apparently a number of them, their sides tried to get a deal, but his mind was set to join West Ham. Do you think we'll still go for Maguire? I think I wouldn't be surprised if I see Maguire coming on loan. I'll be honest. I would try and tempt Southampton to take Ings and get Cole Walker-Peters. Yep, I totally agree. KWP would like him. I really would like him. Souček makes it easy for Moyes to bring Kaduce. As is what I was saying yesterday, Michael. The whole Souček concussion thing, 10 days out or whatever, it means that it's easier. It's less of a, what's the word? It's less of a selection headache to bring in Kaduce. So, I think, and so, where he sort of tried to fudge the side a little bit to get in Alvarez and keep Souček there. it sort of worked out for him, and then Ben Rama came on. So I think actually it's easier for him now with having the Suchek not being available. And then it's these types of sliding doors moments, which could mean that Suchek, Suchek might not get back into the side. Say we tore Luton another one, and Moisey never changes a winning. He doesn't like to change a winning side, so you'd see probably Suchek maybe on the bench then. I don't know. Luton is going to be a difficult game. I totally agree. It's going to be really hard. Their first game there, first Premier League, they're going to be bouncing. Friday night, they're going to be absolutely bouncing. What's happening in Lingard? I still think that will happen before. That will sort of be like the next day when you're sort of looking at it, won't be a massive thing. I don't think they'll make it a huge thing. But I think he will sign because also he will help our homegrown quota as well and would be the replacement to Lanzini, basically. But that does mean another out for that to happen. It goes to show that if you're ready, then you need to play. Look at Alvarez as for another centre back. I would still go for Tar, not Maguire. I think we'll get a compromise. Maguire will come in on loan. That's just me just spitballing more than anything else. Antonio has found a different gear because it's transfer window and he wants to move to Saudi. If he's still here when the window shuts, then we'll see how well he performs. But hopefully by then we'll have another player coming in who will be able to shut him up, basically. I think he did. I'm sure he scored away and got a tap in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. So apparently we're looking at him. So yeah, still looking at him. So we'll see what happens there. Surely we can't play with minimal possession against Luton. Yes, of course we can. Of course we can. You just said, we will. They're going to be firing all cylinders. They're going to be buzzing. They're going to be running about like idiots. And Moisey's going to do exactly the same thing against Brighton. You have the ball. You have as ball as much, and we'll just hurt you on the counter attack. That's what happened. And we'll see a few ex-boys there, a few ex-West Ham boys like Reece Burke and Pelly and Danny Potts. I know Henry retired, Henry Lansbury retired. So yeah, be nice homecoming. Lingard will sign some sort of flexi deal. Moyes wants him indeed. Leon, hope you're well, my friend, and the family. Yeah, miss the old days with a sandwich rush in the office. Indeed, always had to get those beef sandwiches nice and quick. It's the usual way. Get used to it. Indeed, the way Antonio celebrated, thinks he will stay. He's lost weight, looks sharp. Beast mode is back. Yeah, I think he was a bit surprised that no other clubs went in for him in January, in the summer. They still might. But when you want to go to Leeds or stay at West Ham, I think you probably want to stay at West Ham, surely. What have you had for lunch? I've had nothing, mate. Nothing. I've been cleaning the house. Mrs. Budden's been away and Flo, so I've been cleaning the house top to bottom. And after this, I will be going and doing more cleaning. There we go. So I'm a good little house husband. I think against Luton, we'll play attractive, not defensive, and get a big win. Okay, so you carry on believing that. The one thing that worries me about Kaduce is that someone was saying he's not defensive. Not sure if that will play out with Moyes. Well, regardless of what happens, Moyes has got 1 year left in his contract. And any new manager comes in will want to look at this squad and go, fucking hell, these are some good players. These are some good players. So it's not like they're players who can play in the formation that Moyes wants to play. But also they're players who can be quite progressive as well. So the likes of Kaduce can play in a half dozen positions, Mavropanos, very mobile centre-half. Alvarez, JWP, just Paqueta. Any new manager comes in, be like, fucking hell, these are some good players. I can get a tune out of these. I can get a real tune. So yeah, they can play Moyes Ball 1.0. But they're good enough players to be able to play different. And yeah, that means a few players out. Suchek maybe would probably move on and, and that'd be replaced. And, we're still talking about, Fabrizio Minus says we're still looking at Ibrahim Sanye. Where the fuck's he going to fit in? I don't know. But anyway, it'll be an interesting Luton to see how we approach the game. Get Samuel Eto'o in and we're sorted. There we go. Jaylings was saying after D-Day, he is free, no rush to get him in. But there is a rush to get the squad finalised, isn't it? We have to watch the homegrown and British player levels. That's why I think Jaylings comes in. Doesn't say he's off social media if Moyes gives him a contract, where he's been still tweeting and stuff, hasn't he? Commentators suggesting Luton ground will guarantee them home points, possibly. Heard Stardings in Brazil on Paqueta Island, sort the unfinished business. Pick up the readies. Make sure Moyes knows it's Luton we're playing and not Liverpool. Time to move out Connor Coventry. Sad to see him play, but he hasn't impacted better for his career. Connor will I think obviously before he went on loan last year, he signed a new contract. I think I've got a feeling that I've got a feeling he might stay in the squad to keep the homegrown quota up and the academy quota as well, which is horrible to think. But he has that sort of what's the word? He has that draw. So I think he may go. I don't think he'll go anywhere. It's a shame because you don't want to see players sort of languishing in the squad, but he'll get a few minutes here and there. We're interested to see where Kaduce fits in. Will he go Kaduce and Bowen up top in the back five? Will he be on the left wing back, shift to wing and play him in the mid? We don't know. All that cleaning means you're a total scrubber. Unbelievable. Give it a like. Listen to others. Give it a thumbs up if you love West Ham. Thumbs up if you love West Ham. Will be good boy into another striker. There's competition. They'll go sulky. I totally agree. Afternoon, Russ still buzzing. We get back top on Friday. We do. We will just muscle off the park. Well, I hope. I did say 3-1 against. Should have put a pound on it. Should have, Gaz. Are we already a boost from play? Are we already seeing a boost from players with newfound serious competition for places now? Benny came on. Excellent. Antonio also and Kaduce coming in, possibly Lingard with one or two others. I think so. I think there's genuine competition for places. And I think what will be interesting to see is when someone like Mavropanos comes in back from injury, how that affects the centre-back options as well. Will says, can you come and clean my house? No. And Nesri, we get top 4 afternoon. Chris still buzzing. Hopefully we get back on Friday. Is he cheaper than Nesri? Imagine and Nesri, Kudos, Paqueta, Bowen and Jedi with Pete. Still think West Ham need another left back and right back. I see Gunners sold Balogun 50 million Arsenal. Of course they did. Luton play percentage based football. I get it wide and get it to the box quickly. Reply to up front, which is different opposition for all the factors to deal with. Yep, totally agree. Commentary can play Europa. He can play at that level, just not as a starter. Can Kaduce play on the left? People say he can't play on the left, but if you look back at his highlights, a lot of the goals he cuts in from the left-hand side. He drifts out to the left. So there is that option. Why be signing a life back when we can play Johnson there and upgrade Soufal? Because I think Johnson's not very good. I just don't think he's got that, he's a good player, but I think there's better options out there. And yeah, he can play either side, but I want people who are going to be playing. That's your position. That's your position. That not you can do this and do that. That's great, but actually, someone like Johnson needs to go to a club where he's going to be playing week in week out the right back. If we click, we can have a good season. Yeah. If you like the click button, we'll have a good season. Rusty, you actually think we're bringing a striker? Yes, I do. I think it's one of 4 strikers we could bring in. Actually, it's one of 6 really, but I think it's one of 4 really. Luton 4-1, Bowen hat trick. Ben Rama the 4th. We should sell Johnson too. What's your gut feeling about Paqueta regards getting a lengthy ban or not? I don't think he will. I generally don't think he will. Add JP and Alvarez and Fornals and Benny, and that's a good midfield forward line. I'll be surprised if we don't, Scott. If Patman gets banned, can we take him out of our allocation and put another player in? I don't know, Ludders. I don't know. Probably a special dispensation for that because yeah, maybe. It's like when you get emergency loans for goalkeepers, don't you? And things like that. We haven't even done the player ratings yet. I'm just thinking, everyone's having a good old chat. He's worse than Ashby, and he ended up playing a championship player indeed. I can't see how they can ban him unless they can record him telling people who will get a yellow card. There's, by all accounts, the FA haven't got anything on him. And so much so that West Ham have asked them to put the hearing back until like 2 weeks because he's like his lawyer's on holiday or something like that. Luton play potential football. We just said that, haven't you? We just said that, Ken. You're going crazy, man. You're going crazy. If we definitely go with 3 centre backs. We'll see. I think you'll see. I think you'll see the likes of. I still think I've got a feeling we might see another big exit. I still think it might be a Zuma or a Ben Rama going. But yeah, Can we offer Ben Johnson to Leicester in exchange for James Justin? Isn't he injured or is he back? Quality player certainly is. Or even get, Ian Atcho. Wouldn't mind Ian Atcho. He'd do a job, wouldn't he? Don't need to do player ratings as it was a win. Or I could do. I tell you what, I'm going to zoom through my player ratings, and then later on in the comments afterwards, not now, later on. These are my player ratings. Okay, they're quite easy. Ariola's my man of the match. Sufa I gave a 7. Zuma I gave an 8. Bono gave an 8. Emerson I gave an 8. Will Pratt I gave an 8. Suchet I gave a 6 because obviously he got injured. Alvera's an 8. Paqueta an 8. Bowen an 8. Antonio an 8. That was it. And Ben Rama a 8. That was it. Simple. So man of match was Ariola. He got 9. There we go. Job done. Imagine if Moyes broke the rules and went 2 up to. Never going to happen. If Kuma think of going, why give him the armband? So I think I know, but I love a conspiracy theory, and it's just like if you know that Zuma's going to be captain, why don't you just say he's going to be captain rather than captain after the transfer window? Do you know what I mean? If you're saying he's being transferred after the transfer window, then the assumption is whoever I think he might be captain might leave, or we might get in someone who could be captain. I mean, if you watch JWP, the way he was sort of marshalling the team was really good. Was really good for someone who's his second appearance at West Ham. I reckon Zuma will be off as we sign the new fella. See, I don't, because it depends what we saw Mavropanos as being. If he was going to sign at Maguire on loan, he wouldn't have played in a back 2. He'd have played in a back 3. So that would assume that we go to a back 3. Then Mavropanos comes in. He's a very different player to Maguire. And then we keep playing 4 at the back. So a back 2. If Maguire does come back in on loan, then that may assume we've got one too many centre-halves. We'll see. Brick wall, indeed. Another thing is we lose Kaduce, again, Benny. And if we've got Nesri and Cornet as well would leave. So you can see Maguire, Lingard, Kira Fornau as possible depart. I think club wants Lingard come in quietly, and that's what I think will happen, basically, Benny. I think it'll come in very not quietly, but it'll be like and this. What do you think has happened since last year in the league behind the scenes? Players to give us. I know it's early days. It's not getting carried away. It is. The team are very together. Very together. I mean, I've seen them walking around pitch pre-match, and they're very chatty. They're laughing. They seem to have some nice. Obviously, you've got groups of friends and groups of teammates that you talk to more, but there does seem to be a nice group. And we seem to be bringing the right people to fit. I mean, Alvarez seems a really nice guy. I spoke to Chris Skull yesterday about Kaduce. Obviously, he does the iron cast things. He said Kaduce was a really, really nice guy. And he'll have a good relationship with the African-based players, just because that always happens. And obviously, there's, the likes of JWP come in. He knows Danny Ings. He knows the likes of Krez, so there's like the England contingent. It's just a nice group. But they're not bringing in just one type of player. They're bringing in all these different types of players. So, go to Brazil, they bring a Brazilian player in. Paqueta will have a mate. You know what I mean? Russ doing an 8. Everyone gets an 8 apart. Yeah, exactly. Grease Lightning player. Yeah, blink and you miss it. Totally agree. I have to go back and watch it later. Good call. Russ Zuma was close to a 9-2. I agree. Has been quality since taking the armband. Moyes getting an extra 5 or 10% out of our best defender until he gets injured, though, innit? That's the thing. You're only going to get 25, 30 games max out of him. So would you rather flip him and get someone who's going to be playing every game, consistent, doesn't really pick up many injuries? Just for that. Most other games I've Zuma as man of match, Barriola and Bowen were very good too. They were indeed. There should be no good way if Maguire comes in loan that he should be captain. I agree. Starting to get 11 cats in the pitch, that would be nice. Totally. I mean, Alvarez seems to be a really good talker. It's not 11 captains. You want 11 talkers. You want 11 people who are going to be pulling people up. No, you do that, and I do this, and and you're doing it. So assertiveness. I don't want these sort of like shrinking violets. I want people who are gonna. I mean, Alvarez's attacker in the second half was the second half at Brighton, which apparently just the thud was like a proper old school Julian Dix tackle. And I love that. I call JWP as captain. I'll be surprised if he comes in as captain. I can see him being as vice captain because I could see him being the captain eventually. But it's never. I don't always recommend someone who comes in or make captain straight away. So it's sort of a bit of a piss take on the others. I still think Aguerd would be a good captain. Still think Zoom would be a good captain. I think nowadays it's only really the conversation with the referee. To be fair, now the captain, you want leaders on the pitch. Maguire question mark. I think it's got to be paintball sessions for team building. After Maguire rejects us because he feels he was too big, he can stay. Why would we want him after that? Same as Lingard. It's not like he rejected us. He basically wanted Man United to pay what they said they were going to pay in terms of severance. He's on something like £250,000 a week, and we would never offer him that. And basically, Man United were going to offer him a deal which basically offset some of that cost, and they went back on it. Players do get injured, so having a backup good. Just look at Man City; they have six first team players on the bench. They do indeed, and so he must. I mean, you look at the likes of people like someone like I mean, Corner didn't get any minutes yesterday on Sunday. Pardon me. And it's just like, we've just got a really strong bench now. Maybe a squad playing for Europe. For me, I think you might see a little bit more of him coming in, but we'll see. It's great the team does it together. New players, enthusiasm helps. Do they have a no mobile policy when eating? I don't know. I'd imagine so. Nice to see from Andre Ayew give West Ham a thumbs up to the Kudos deal. Indeed, don't forget John Pansel as well. Kudos, and Chris Hughton is the Ghanaian manager from West Ham player. Kudos really seems to have his head on his shoulders. I agree. We've been waiting this for ages. The camaraderie, like you said, I can see a few new players with smiles on their faces. Hope he continues. Well, listen to the interview that Kaduce gave. He said Alvarez said, what a great time he's having there at the club so far. So that's great. Great to see starting the move for the goal. It was. Team should have one captain, 11 generals. I agree. We have an interesting week ahead of us regarding players out. 3 more in and we'll be good. Yeah, well, I see 3. I see 3. Not necessarily those positions, I'll be honest. I see a left back. I see a striker. And I see him, and then I see a Man United reject. Whether that's Maguire or Lingard, I can see one of them. Now, John, they haven't qualified yet. They've got one more game in the qualifications, which is on the 7th of September when they play the Central Republic, who are third in the group, and they can qualify as well. So whoever wins that group, wins that game. Actually, Ghana only need to get a point, and they will qualify. So there we go. What impressed me, JP, was how he communicated with all the other players. Yeah, I totally agree. 72% of the chat don't want Maguire. So Anton's running polls. Very good. I thought it was strange that Ten Hag didn't come in for Kaduce. I wonder when Moyes will play him. We'll see. Big test will be the City game. Top of the table clash. That will be, won't it? Still qualifying, but over until early September. September the 7th, I believe. Did Maguire reject us? Plenty of people say that simply isn't true. I don't think he did. Salim Antari, thank you, very good. Man United want to give him 6 million, he wanted 12. Go to bed, DG, indeed. Need 2 teams now with Europa. We do. Although sometimes I think having that divide didn't help us last year. The season before we had Europe, and then we had a smaller squad, and we were sort of running on empty towards the end, but there was momentum, and it's almost like you have a good game and then you have a shit game. Sometimes it's going to be up to the managers to make it work, and that's what worries me slightly. Having seen what happened when he dropped Fabianski for Areola, and the petulance from from Fabianski rather. Moyes was quite came back and said, "Look, no, he did this." I thought he handled it quite well, but that's going to happen more often. Kaduce doesn't know who Pansel was, and said he didn't mention him to West Ham. Unbelievable. The Europa League's very tough this year. Some very, very good set they are. He dreamed of playing for West Ham as a young boy, sitting on the North Bank with Teddy Sheringham. Oi, call a copper. Ariella did his job. Till he slips up. Antonio's the man of the match for our matches for years now. He's Moyes bollocks 10-10. Very good, Michael. Nah, he just said dreamt of playing as a young kid. Indeed, we'll bat at all corners. It's easy to smile when you've had a win, but when we keep losing all the time, it's hard to smile. But we're West Ham fans. If Maguire really wants to come, what we want from players, they want to play. Give him £100 a week to start with. Yeah, whatever. Seems the squad much more balanced. The morale's high. I totally agree. We have a striker as Mickey, as good as he is, can't keep up those levels all season. I totally agree, and he will have a dip. When's Europa draw? It's Friday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon to midday, and we'll be streaming it on the West Ham network. So, like we always do, so keep on us. I hear that we're after another player, Yuri. Sorry for my mistake. Yep, Yuri Alberto. But also, we're looking at Pedro and several others as well. Hammer's headlines, we talk about that. Get ready for Friday in the Met. Busy day, as I said. We really need to get Bowen tied down. I hope he signs. I think he will do. The squad is looking good now. I've had a top striker and a manager who lets them have the ball occasionally. Maybe a top 8 side. Just need 33 points indeed. If Cresswell doesn't get a red, we win the Europa in 2022. We would have done them. We'd be in the Champions League, wouldn't we then? Even though we've just signed Kaduce, I would like to see Cornet give him the chance. Not going to happen, Percy, is it? It ain't going to happen. It is not going to happen. Corner, I think, will be, as I said, we've got too many players in that position now. So if we do play Kaduce on the left, for example, there's in essence 4 players now on that left-hand side. There's Kaduce, there's Ben Rama, there's Fornals, and there is Cornet. Now we know Fornals is better playing in the middle. We would love to. That's where we'd like to see Fornals play. But then Fornals has then got 4 players ahead of him as well. Or 3 players. He's got Paqueta. Or 4. He's got Paqueta, Souček, Alvarez, JWP. So he's got no chance in my eyes. No chance of being a first team player or a starter. And if that's okay, he's happy for coming on doing the cameos for 15 minutes. Perfect. Keep him. If he doesn't want to do it, if he wants first team football, don't stand in his way. As much as we wouldn't want him to, I wouldn't stand in his way because he's 28. Realistically, the Euros, he may be around. He may have enough game time to maybe make the World Cup in 2 years' time for Spain, but he wants to play for Spain in a major tournament like any player would do for your nation. So that's why I could see it sort of. But we'll see. Beat Luton, go top, and 25% of the way staying up. Indeed. 4 games in, 25%. Perfect. Is that right? Yeah, he's Antonio is an 18-month dip. Him hoping he stays on form. I totally agree. It's funny how we sold a top player in Skamaka and it's replaced him with Yuri Geller. But apparently he does bend in a good free kick, though. That's what I've heard about him. 7 for an ice cream van to take Cornet away. Yes, we need 2 strikers, and hopefully they can beat our strikers' curse. Cornet can play as a striker, as he did for Burnley, but he hasn't so far. And people say, and I know he can do, but he hasn't really. So what's going to change for that to happen? It ain't. Because at the end of the day, you've got Antonio, you've got Danny Ings, you've got Mbama, and then it's probably 4th choice is Cornet. Actually, it's 5th choice because Bowen will go up front. So there's always going to be. That's what sometimes you just got to cut the umbilical cord and get rid. As much as I like his players on the left, if they had chances, so move forward. Indeed, Sally's have inquired about Ben Ramos and might need to keep unless we bring in someone else. Well, I think Ben Rama would. I think you go for we're going to sell. Yes, we might want to get rid of Cornet, but if no one's going to buy him from them, yeah. That's why they got relegated. Indeed, explaining him up front. Kaduce and JWP on set pieces are going to be mustard. Who's Alberto? Answered the show this morning about him. Yuri Alberto for Corinthians. He's one of the players we're looking at. I would suggest Cornet has not had a chance since injury. Well, that's the trouble. Injuries. I mean, look, the situation we're going to be in now for the Luton game is Souček is going to be out. So it's going to play with Kaduce and Alvarez and JWP as a 2. that type of thing. He might not get back in the side. Souček. These things happen, these injury things, and they force you to do things that are different. And actually, if they work out well, then you go, oh, fuck, well, I've stumbled across it, so we'll carry on. We should make a nice profit. We would do if it's on to the Saudi League. Cornet would have to be a centre back to play striker odds. He'll still be offside. If Benny goes, not much of a loss because we still have Fornals, Cornet, and Kaduce who can play there. I mean, Benny's 28 now. So how long do we need to know to get to be the player we want him to be? Is he gonna develop that in the next season? No, this is the Ben Rama you'll get now. This is him in peak. It is. So are you happy with that, or do you want to move him on? I don't know. Rather keep Benny and sell Cornet. Well, I think me too. But would people buy Cornet? You wouldn't get the money for Cornet that you would do for Ben Rama. If we don't make profit, what's the point in selling? I agree. It might be FFP. Keep the old coffers in. If it means you can reinvest that into someone else, then surely you would do that. West Ham a proper club, so when it starts falling with the bed knob, stop farting around with bubbles. Very good. Bowen will stay. We'll use in Europe. Some others are just surplus. Clearly, Cornet was not a Moyes signing then. Maybe Sully has had a few chances. He's mostly stayed offside. Bowen needs to stay where he is. He's very effective. Mbama is very green. So many fans did not want Dawson, and also loads said no. Let's be honest. What do we actually know as fans? I totally agree, Narky. Totally agree. Mbama needs a season championship. Not going to happen. He's staying with us. He's the only one who's not on available for loan. We can all make fun of Cornet's offsides, but that shows he's trying to break the defence, which comes down to timing. Looked amazing start of last season. He did, and he got injured, and that was it. A player should hit their prime at 28 to 30. I'd say a player hits their peak about 27, 26 to 29. I think by the time you hit 29, you're slightly on the downhill, but that's semantics. I like Benny and Fornals. I do too. If Benny could finish, he wouldn't be here. Yep, you're totally right. You're totally right, Peter. I love the Benny we have. There we go. Corner yet another example of forward who's an average player who looks bang average for us. We should have got Adam Traore to a Moyes type player. He looked great. Traore looked great for Fulham, towards the end of that Arsenal game particularly. What's the Kaduce's song for Luton? I don't think the Governor B song is a bit of a tricky rap, but anyway, it's probably the Tim Steidlen song, isn't it? About going to Amsterdam for marijuana. Comes back with Alvarez and a superstar from Ghana. Needs to stay his class. Out with the old manure, I'm afraid. This is what we need to do if we want to compete with the big boys. Not even the big boys. I mean, look at Brighton. That's what Brighton do. They build on a player, sell him, bring in the next one, sell him, sell him. And that's what we need to do. I'd say peak is 29 to 32. I'd say peak is 40 to 45. So I'm still going. Anyone been tracking King Steidlen's jet? No, I don't know if he get private to Brazil. Maybe. Usually you get the privates like Europe, but I don't know. Exactly the point of the striker situation. Ings is behind Antonio, isn't ready yet. Makes an impact when he starts on the bench. If that's happy. Let's go indeed. If we sign Lingard and go for Maguire, what's our 25-man squad position? We would need to sell. We're at 25 now already. We turned down Traore as the baby oil bill was too much. Very good. Very good. I like Traore. I would have liked him on a free transfer. It would have been an absolute really interesting one to look at, but wasn't meant to be. Anyway, peeps, I'm going to skedaddle. Got some more cleaning to do. Terribly exciting bank holiday weekend for me. It's been literally up to my arms in cleaning products. Anyway, if you're new around here, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Maybe become a channel member. We've got loads now, 60, 65, something like that. It's ridiculous. And they'll be entered into the prize draw for September. For like we do all the time, every month, as well as exclusive content for the channel members. I'll be back with Hammer's Headlines in a couple of hours' time, talking about a few transfer rumours, all that stuff, and it's going to be a hell of a busy week here, so strap yourself in, peeps. As always, like to thank all of our channel members at the end of each of our shows, and don't forget Thursday night we'll have your West Ham view boys back after their first show the other day, so they'll be back on Thursday, and we may even have do a bit of a live stream maybe Wednesday with the Carabao third round draw as well. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my friends. Come on, you bloody irons.
Stays the same.